Hi, I'm Juanita and welcome back to the Knit Guru. I haven't stopped to think about the fact that filming in the construction site that is my house isn't necessarily the best for lighting. However, enjoy this morning glow from the sun and the aesthetic view of these frames. Why are we here, do you ask? Other than I have walls now, sort of, and a roof frame, sort of. This is my safety vest. Because as everybody knows, if you're wandering around a construction site, you should be in Hi-vis. Now this is the same safety vest that I wear when I go to theatre events, because you can't be wandering around moving set without wearing Hi-vis. I mean, there's nothing wrong with my safety vest. It's hot pink after all. I mean, would I prefer it if the hot pink one came in a slightly larger size? Yes, I would. I would thoroughly enjoy it if they made a bigger one, or if I could get a bigger one. However, as we do know, I do have the extra gene, which says, why stop with just owning a reflectorized safety vest when I could knit one? What's the advantage of knitting one? Well, I can have one that fits, and also I can stay warm on those colder days out on the worksite or backstage when I'm loading up trucks and things. It sounds like my life is way more exciting than it is. This happens I suppose it does happen probably 20 times a year. So, you know, frequently enough that owning a safety vest that reflectorizes is probably sensible. So what have I found? I was about to get someone to custom dye me some fluorescent orange yarn when I found this fluoro pink, or neon pink I think it's called. No, fluoro pink. It is called fluoro pink yarn. I found this at Uncle Bill's. So it cost 3 balls for $12. So my brain should not hurt this much. 3 balls for $12, $4 each, which is not bad. This is a 100-gram ball, I believe. She says not remembering, and it doesn't say on the label, but yeah, I know it does. It says it right there in big letters, 100 grams. What even am I? Am I losing the plot? So I've got several balls of this, which should be enough for a safety vest. This is a 8/3 ply, or whatever they want to call that, but it does feel like it's a DK weight yarn. What I really wanted to do was order from Bling Bling Yarns some of their reflector yarn. However, I couldn't get their website to work for me, which was very disappointing. I think because I wasn't trying to purchase enough yarn, if that makes sense. They do have free delivery on purchases over a certain amount, but I didn't need to purchase any more. I've got a lot of their glow yarn and I've got a lot of their reflector yarn already. So what I did find is this here, literally no name reflectorized yarn in grey. I mean, I could have got this in white and it would have been a little bit more aesthetically pleasing, but I have got it in grey. So what I'm thinking is I have 2 balls of this. This is sort of more of a chenille, but it is not a fat chenille. It is a very similar gauge to my pink. So I am going to attempt to knit my own safety vest. What are the important bits that I'm going to need to get on the safety vest? Do I want vertical stripes down the front when they really do go around the sides for me, to be honest? I don't know. I feel like if I'm going to replicate this, cool, but I don't know if I will. I was thinking across the back to have like a V, because my dog's fluoro vest has a V, and as we all know, if I can dress like my dog, I will. So I'm thinking a V across the back. I am thinking that a border would be a good idea. I don't know at this stage whether or not I'll just crochet a border around or if I will knit the border. I think that I am going to make it as a full vest rather than a zip up, because the zip up's fine, don't get me wrong, but I just don't see the point when I could just slip it over the top. So as long as I make it large enough to fit over things, I'll be fine. I mean, it feels like a good plan. This feels like the loosest plan, and calling it a plan is kind of ridiculous. So I think I'm going to draw up some ideas of where I want these to sit, the stripes that is. I don't mind the neck height. I don't like how it rounds because, you know, I don't need this flappy bit. Because the content you really did sign up for today was critiquing the fashion choices made by whoever makes safety vests in hot pink. Now this one, what you can't see, because I can't walk through this wall yet, oh maybe you can, who knows. I would prefer this if it sat a little lower, but I'm quite hippie, and this stops here. Now I don't know if it's supposed to stop here and I'm just wrong torsoed, or whether it's one that when unzipped and it sits here, that feels like a better length. So I feel like the length of this is good. The width of this is not the greatest. The placement of the reflectors, well, I can change that, because this just says no one's going to like crash into my side boob because I reflect, but I don't need gapy armholes. I think I can do this better. Is anyone else going to want to knit their own safety vest? Probably not, but I'm about to knit mine, and if you're interested, and this video ever gets posted because it means that I finished it, I will share the pattern so that you too can have your own knitted safety vest. All right, let's see how we go. So, you ready for a house update? I will give you a 360. Here we go. Out here we've got the front door and view. Over here we've got spare room, bedroom, bathroom, walk-in pantry, kitchen, very nice, dining side, laundry, wardrobe, ensuite, and master bedroom and media room, which will become my yarn room at some point. So here we are. This is the 29th of May 2025. Frames appear to be up. Scaffolding is doing its thing. And if we go up, that's probably disconcerting. We have roof trusses. What we are still missing is the portico. Alrighty, so you can probably hear the rain as I do this voiceover, because I was thinking I was just going to put music to it, and I thought actually I can probably just talk about it. So here I am sitting in Wellington with my yarn, sitting in my hotel room, working on literally just counting stitches. Now I've casted on 120 stitches here, and these are 4.5mm needles. However, I've left this in here because it does turn out that my thinking face really is a resting bitch face. However, it didn't take too long to get the ribbing done. See, the grey looks really drab, and yet it is the reflector yarn. I mean, later on we've got some shots where I'm using the flash of my phone light to show you the colour. What happens when it is under reflection. It's not the most reflective yarn. I do think the bling bling yarn is far more reflective than this generic reflective yarn that I've managed to pick up. But, you know, them's the breaks, this is what I've got. Anyway, I've got as far as the armhole here on the back, and I've been doing my measurements off of my book vest, because I'm quite happy with the length of my book vest. I just wanted to change the shoulders, really. So here we go. This is the back almost done. I've come in quite a long way compared to the book vest around the armholes. I do think I need to go back to the book vest at some point and put sleeves on it, because I think it would make a great book jersey, for lack of a better description. I have just gone for some straight rows. Now, I was planning on having a V shape. However, the V shape, because the reflector yarn is thicker than the pink yarn, it was actually just distorting the weave a little bit too much, and I wasn't happy with it. So we get through the back here. Now I've just held these stitches for the neck just there. I do think I've got probably too many stitches on the side of the neck hole, and it's causing it to gape a little bit at the back, but I'm not too worried about it because it's at the back, and I have just been throwing this reflective vest on top of everything else when I go up to the building site with lunch. There's some of the reflection going on, and you can see some of it there because I've got the flash on the phone, or the light on the phone, and you can see when it gets the right angle, you can see the reflecting. Whereas if I'd managed to use the bling bling yarns, that's really reflective. Yeah. So this is my work in project basket. Actually trying to get through all these works in progress. Oh, those socks are still on the needles, and I don't think I've made much progress on the Easy Cardi since having a look at this one here. So here we go. This is the regular, and that's with the light on it to get the reflection going. Yeah, Bling Bling's definitely more reflective than this yarn. And here's my house at this point. So the roof's on and the walls, well, they're papered. As I'm sitting here right now, we're a little bit further along than this. Here's me undoing, because of course I managed to go all the way past the armhole and then have to undo an entire day's work because I forgot to bring it in at the armhole. However, what do I do when I do have a day's work that I have to undo? Passionate Kelsey, always a good one to catch up with online. Last night I discovered that I had forgotten to decrease for the armholes in the same spot as on the back. So I had to undo everything, and now I've almost got up to where I was last night, which is kind of ridiculous after a day's work. So basically you get second side syndrome, but I decided to go for the V-neck here, and here's me finished the V-neck on the first side, and there's some house progress. You may notice things are flapping in the breeze somewhat. Oh, there's been so many issues with the engineering on the front of the house. Here I'm watching Ash Bentley while working on my vest and my cardi. Cardi's still not finished, but now at least we're up to sewing up the vest at this point. Here's the house. We've got the cladding starting to go on the outside of the back. There they are building the front corner. Here's Rocky, because is it really a video without Rocky running around? Here's me wearing my vest on the building site. Wait, it's a nice day, and probably didn't need to wear it at this point. This is me pretending that I know what I'm doing, looking like half farmer, half tradesman, going up to the scaffolding. I did think about climbing the scaffolding, and then I realised that if I just start climbing the scaffolding, I am going to look so ridiculous. So I just strike this pose instead, thinking that I look cool, but all it really is that the grass is in focus, and I am not. But at least the boys have said they can tell when lunch is coming, because I do stand out like a sore thumb on the green background. Yeah, it's been quite a handy vest, and it has caused a few laughs. So this is what I look like when I'm delivering the lunch. So I've got this pink shopping basket that's insulated, and my pink band gumboots, which were a fundraiser for breast cancer research, and there's my Hi-vis Vest. So that's me doing the lunch delivery up to the building site. Yeah, no, I do thoroughly enjoy this vest, and the pattern will be down below at some point. Well, here's my Hi-vis Vest. And I'm actually quite happy with it, to be honest. I can't work out how to get enough of it in shot to talk about it. I like the depth, I like the armholes. I probably still could have had slightly narrower across the shoulders, but it's not bad. I did put the reflector around this neck, but because the reflector yarn is actually thicker than the pink, I didn't put it around the shoulders. It does need some steam blocking, but I also figure going through the wash a couple of times is probably going to do the same thing. Yeah, maybe I could have come in a little bit more on the back of the shoulders, but to be honest, considering this cost what, $15 in acrylic yarn, and now I have a Hi-vis vest that I can visit the building site. I seem to be on an angle, I don't even care anymore. Matching my lunchbox and my gumboots, so 10 out of 10 victory, really. I will put the pattern down below at some point. Might try and grade it to a few sizes, but they'll definitely be this size, because, you know, you might want to cosplay as me, which I'm sure is fun. Like, it's a lot of fun. I'm also assuming that because this is acrylic, it's going to get a bit longer as it settles. We'll see. But, no. I'm happy. I'm visible. All the things. I will catch you next week. Bye. Here's a video that you might want to watch, and here's a playlist you might be interested in, and here's the bit where you can subscribe if you want to.